Don't know how we got here, but we got love, yeah. Don't know how we got here, but we got love, yeah.
Welcome to Saving Us, where we discuss relationships in marriage, family, and beyond. Relationships are hard work and should be a priority. These discussions are here to help you navigate the waters of insecurity and frustration and hopefully guide you to a place of peaceful fulfillment in your own relationships. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Saving Us. We are your hosts, Michael and Detra Carter, here to talk about our journey through life, through marriage, through love, and hopefully extending it to some other areas. This podcast is what it's called.
Yeah, well, this is a video on YouTube, but it's also a podcast. It's a video and a podcast. So
the original idea was a podcast.
Yeah, well, you're going to do YouTube channel.
But it's the whole idea was to save our relationship, but of course that's saved now, we hope. And so now we're getting into how to help others save their relationships. So we've talked about lots of things. We talked about our love journey. We've talked about raising kids. We've talked about being in a blended family.
Yes.
The last couple of weeks we had a special guest that talked about finances, and maybe we will be able to do that a little more in depth and get some other perspectives on finances in the future. I think that would be very helpful. But today we are talking about our health journey. Okay, so we're talking about what it means to grow together over the years and to deal with different things that come up health-wise.
Yes.
For the two of us. And so we are not special, these kinds of things happen to everybody. So hopefully we'll be able to help some other people along the way.
It's part of the marriage, just like, it's like finances are, and love and romance and all that, your health.
It's part of life, yeah. So I'll say this for this episode. Before we go any farther, please like, subscribe, and share this video with other people because we just want to reach as many people as we can, okay?
Right.
So, all right. So we started this because we've had some health issues in the past, and like many people, we've been together almost 24 years, so we were nice and young and sprightly when we got married.
Right.
And I know I had not had any health issues.
You had no surgeries.
Yeah, nothing that I would have to go to the hospital for, no chronic
no health
things
issues,
really. I mean, I suffered with some asthma growing up, but took good care of myself and, never needed anything, not unless pollen got really, really thick and I had to get an inhaler or something like that. But nothing too serious throughout all of these years.
How long you been going to the gym? Like
going to the gym,
like
I would say,
exercising.
exercising for 35-ish years.
Yeah, faithfully,
like at least 3 to 5 days a week. Some of those years, 6 days a week. To the a gym membership became accessible to me at graduate school.
Okay.
I used the gym. There was a gym room in my undergrad, like a little room in our dorm in the basement where they had a couple of things. I think there was a treadmill, a couple of exercise
they didn't have like a...
But no, because the school was old then. It was before the basketball team blew up, so, we didn't have money to do all that.
Okay. Right.
They just had a little room in the dorm.
Yeah.
So I exercised there usually, but when I got to IU, that's who had the big facility. Yeah. So that's where I started going to the gym.
This was Butler before.
Yeah,
before the basketball team was something.
Yeah, it was just a regular, private school. Now they blew up.
Yeah.
But yeah, at IU they had the big gym, and so that's where I started going to the gym faithfully and got addicted to it.
Right.
So that was one of my non-negotiables to be honest. When we got married, I was like, I have to have a gym membership. I don't care how poor we are.
Gym membership is part of it.
It's part of the budget. So I've been exercising forever. But I was just getting my checkups and, something came up. So it happens, even if you take care of yourself.
So what happened?
So I had surgery for uterine fibroids, and which is common among a lot of women to have uterine fibroids.
Sounds nasty.
It took me by surprise. I didn't have any of the common symptoms. Like I was not in a lot of pain. I did not have a lot of bleeding, anything like that. So I didn't know I had them.
Okay. Well, so you had surgery.
Yeah.
Well, what made you go to the doctor in the first place?
Because I'm healthy. So I was taking care of myself, and I was getting my yearly checkup.
So you said you weren't hurting or...
Right, but I was doing my preventative care.
Okay.
So ladies, you know all about those checkups we're supposed to get every 3 to 5 years. So I was approaching my 50th birthday. Really, this was the thing. And I thought, I'm going to be 50, so I'm going to get everything checked out, thinking nothing is wrong.
Go get a tune-up.
I still haven't got my sinuses. I want to go to an ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor, just because I can only breathe out of one nostril a lot of times. So I was like, maybe they can help me. So I was getting all of my checkups. So that's why I went to the doctor, because it was just time, and I was getting old and said, I should do this.
Had to go get a full tune-up, huh?
Exactly.
The whole thing.
I had to get it all cleaned out and
right.
washed and everything.
So you went to your doctor, and your doctor told you what was happening.
Right.
How did you react to it? Because you had never had something this serious. I guess we could call it serious.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, of course, uterine fibroids are not ever usually cancerous.
Okay.
So they're usually always benign. So it was never like scary, like, these are going to metastasize and, you have to go to chemotherapy or anything like that. But
doing that.
So it wasn't that kind of scary, but it was like,
right.
What's going on? Like, why is this happening? And how come I don't have any symptoms that I'm aware of that would let me know, like pain or something, to say something's wrong.
So you were surprised?
I was surprised.
And you were taken aback, or were you?
I was. I would say I was surprised. She ordered a ultrasound, of course, at that time. So when she did my exam, she could feel them, right? So then she ordered an ultrasound to see how big they were, how many there were, all that kind of stuff. Which I did, had that done. And at that time, I believe there were 3 or 4 fibroids. And I did nothing. I prayed and said, they'll go away, they're fine. Because that's an option, right? So if they're not bothering you, doctors say, don't worry about them. Then, because they're just there, right. Especially at my age. Now, if I was in my late 20s or 30s, they might be more concerned because the fibroids have a longer time to grow and to multiply.
Okay.
But because I was 50, the mindset of the doctors is, you might go into menopause soon anyway, and then that stops feeding the fibroids, so they'll get smaller anyway. But the thing is, they can't tell you when you're going to go into menopause. Right. So it could still be 10 years. Well, we don't know. Right. And doctors don't know. Nobody knows how many eggs are still left in the ovary. So we don't know. So,
Lord have mercy. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, so you got this diagnosis. What options did the doctor? You said obviously praying and not doing anything was an option. Then as it went further, what other options did you have, or what made it become? Because you did that, you prayed and said nothing's going to happen.
So my mind was, you pray, you give God time to do the work. The next time I'm going to go back in a year, they'll be either the same or they'll be gone. This is my mindset, because that's just how I think. Right. So I did that. So went back the next year. I think the first time I went was January 2020. I think. I'm not real sure, but I think that's when it was. And so then that's when the world shut down, right? In March of 2020. Yeah. So I didn't go back, because I think I was supposed to go back in 6 months, but I didn't because everybody was shut down. Okay. So I ended up going back more toward the fall. Right. Of that year, or maybe even the next winter. It might have been a full year when I went back. And what? Yeah, what the doctor say? Because you keep going. Yeah, what the doctor say? They said the family had grown, so there were more, and they had gotten large. The ones that were there before had increased, in size. So I was like,
Not good.
this is going the opposite way from what I thought would happen.
Right.
And so that made 2021, right? So yeah, so that was about around 2021. So then
Yeah. What options did the
the
doctor give
option
you
she
then?
said was, well, from the beginning, she was like, have a hysterectomy. So that means they take your uterus out.
Wow.
Now, she never said take your uterus and your ovaries out. She never said that. But she did say, just have a hysterectomy because you're old. And no, she didn't say I was old, but she said you're past having children and you don't need your uterus anymore. So just take it out. And then you don't have to worry about fibroids coming back because there's potential that they come back. There is an option to a myomectomy where the doctor goes in and just cuts the fibroids out, leaves the uterus, but just cuts all the fibroids out, takes them out. There's a chance they grow back or new ones can come. Okay. So that's why the doctor was like, just take the whole uterus out and then you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, so hysterectomy, myomectomy.
Right.
Those are two options.
Those are the two options she gave me.
Okay.
Those were the only two. And I said, I would like to keep my uterus because I believe all the body parts are there for a reason. I don't think I should be without one, if I don't have to be.
Right.
So, and she did say that having a myomectomy is a much more delicate surgery, a lot messier, a lot more time consuming. She just wanted to take everything out.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh, she's making the case for the hysterectomy.
Yes. She's like, yeah, don't do the myomectomy. So, so I had to think about it some more and then, do some research. And I came upon a couple of different options. One that has to do with sound. What is it called? Like sound waves, and they put sound waves up against your belly.
Okay.
And there's something I didn't have it. So whatever that was, I was like, very interesting. That was why I forget what that was called. But the other option was the embolization, which is what I had.
Okay, but the doctor didn't give you that option.
She did
the doctor
not
gave
because
you hysterectomy and myomectomy.
Yes, because she is a surgeon. Gynecologists are surgeons.
Okay.
So the other options she was not eligible to do. She was not qualified.
Oh, okay. These are things she would do.
Yes.
Okay.
So her options were myomectomy or hysterectomy.
Okay. How'd you come upon the embolization?
Just Google.
Oh, okay.
University
you
of
did your
YouTube.
own study.
Yes.
Yeah. You did your own study on it.
Yeah.
So there's a lesson to be learned there.
I did. So I got on the internet and looked for options because I listened to the elders in my life as well, people who had gone through hysterectomies and everything, and everybody said, "Don't do that."
They said, "Don't do the hysterectomy."
They said, "Don't get a hysterectomy.
goodness.
Don't do that." I was like, okay. And I know that hysterectomy typically has a very long recovery time, which is another reason why I didn't want to do it. At least 8 weeks, doctors say, and I didn't really have time to be down for 8 weeks. Now, I've procrastinated something very important for at least 8 weeks, but I didn't want to be in the position where I couldn't do anything.
Right.
Couldn't do anything for 8 weeks.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
that was also another reason why I was looking for alternatives.
Right.
To just have to forego that
There's
long
something else we could
recovery time. Yeah. So I came upon embolization, which is done through radiology. A radiologist did it. And so I had to have an MRI, which is a deeper ultrasound. So it goes deeper into the tissue and everything. So then that was 2021, right? So it took me, because of COVID and, how the hospitals were overflowing and all of this kind of stuff. It took me all the way until I went back to the doctor like in November, I think, or December, for my most recent exam. And then she gave me a referral to the radiologist. I told my doctor, Dr. Love, Dr. Love Davis. Isn't that a wonderful name? I love her.
That's your doctor.
But she referred me to a radiologist in her group.
Okay.
And so I went to him, and he had the MRI done, and he looked over it, and he says, oh, you have at least 12 tumors.
With the MRI.
Not 4. Yeah. I
Wow.
thought I had 4. He
Oh
said,
my
no, you
goodness.
have at least 12. I was like, wow. So does that mean I have to have surgery anyway because there are so many of them?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And he was like, no, because of where they're located. I can cut off the blood supply to all of them and shouldn't be any problem.
Right. So you still had to have the procedure.
I still had to have a procedure,
but
yeah.
not cut open surgery.
Right.
Like a
So it wasn't a scalpel surgery. You didn't have to slice me open. They went through my groin with, I don't know, I guess with some kind of radiology scope. I guess.
yeah.
And went in that way. So I don't even have a scar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not even a scar. So
Yeah. So that's what that conversation was like after the MRI. It was like, you need to do something.
Right.
Right. My question is, what was the doctor's, if there was one, I don't know if there was one, what was the prognosis? So the difference in so you were diagnosed with
the
fibroid tumors.
Right.
Prognosis means what will happen.
Right.
So what would the
What did they
prognosis
expect to happen?
if you didn't do anything? Did
If
they
I
expect
had chosen
something?
to do nothing,
Yeah.
the assumption was that the fibroids would grow in size or grow in number,
Okay.
one or the other or both,
Or both.
which means that the radiologist said that my uterus before the procedure was the size of about 16-week pregnancy.
No, really.
Yeah. So it was
But because
growing,
of the
because the tumors were growing
Okay.
in size. So you would expect those to just get bigger. So
Right.
you would walk around looking like you're pregnant.
oh,
when you're not.
really?
Yes.
So that's okay.
Yes. And then that puts pressure on your organs. So you know how pregnant women, they have to go to the bathroom all the time
Right.
because the pressure of the uterus is up against their bladder.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're constipated because the pressure is blocking the track, to get everything out. It's pressing up against there. So it causes back pain.
Right.
So all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So that would have been, so the prognosis is you wouldn't have lived a very pleasurable life.
Right.
Physically.
That
Okay.
I would have been back saying, please do something.
Right.
Please help me.
Okay. So it's like, you'd be back.
yes, you'll be back.
Okay. All right. So now you had to have this surgery or procedure. I would say surgery, but it's not a cut open scalpel surgery.
Right. They said it's a procedure, not a surgery.
Right. So I remember you talking to me about that. And it was like, oh man, we got to do this thing. So how did you prepare? Did you have to do anything to prepare for the surgery? Like, did you have to not eat something for a certain amount of days? What's that like?
I didn't have to do anything to prepare. They did say not to eat or drink anything from midnight until I had the procedure,
Okay,
which was
like
at
a
8
regular
o'clock the
surgery,
next
yeah,
morning.
like the normal
So that's what I had to do. Now, I did choose to stay away from breads and try to stay away from sugars and meat. A lot of meat, too.
Right.
Just so I wanted my body to be as healthy as it could be
Right.
going in because I didn't want a real long recovery process.
So that's interesting.
That's
Yeah.
what I did.
Okay. So that's how, now we're up to the point where you're going to have the procedure. Talk about when you went, because you have never had good success when you go to get like an IV or give blood. I got good veins. When I go give blood, they're like, oh yeah, we can use either arm, and but you have always had trouble. Well, not you, but whoever.
Yeah. Usually, now there has been like one phlebotomist, I think at IU Health.
Yeah, I don't know what that person
who
is.
does them all the time, like when you go just to give blood in that one office. That person knows what they're doing, or whoever did for me.
Okay.
They know what they're doing. Everybody else, Lord, it's terrible.
You get stuck and restuck.
Your veins are so small. And then they get in there and then they dig around. Then they pull it back and then they dig around. I'm like, it hurts so bad.
Now, but my thing is, wouldn't that be in your chart somewhere? It seems like if you go to, because as long as I've known you, every time you've gone and had to give blood, or you haven't had procedure, you haven't had surgery, but you've given blood.
Tried to give blood at the
you give blood or
Red Cross.
The Red Cross, or
one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, no more.
Right. You've done that, but also when you just go to the doctor and you have to give blood for whatever cholesterol and all that, the normal checkups.
Yeah.
It just has always been. So it seems like they would put that in your chart.
Yeah. Seems
that
like
you have small veins or whatever. So when you go to the next
it is.
doctor, they could see.
Yes,
But apparently that wasn't the case.
that was not the case.
So they kept sticking around.
They kept sticking around. It was not good. Yeah, so I experienced some real pain during the prep for the surgery at the hospital.
Right.
Yeah, it was not. They ended up putting them on like right in my wrist area, so it was close to this area, wrist area. So that was pretty painful.
Yeah.
Because it still kind of hurts when you go past it like that. But
Yeah. Even now.
you can still feel, where it was. So that
It was in your wrist or your hand?
I don't know. I think it was like right in here. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I know I had one time. It was right here in my.
No, but mine wasn't up. No, it wasn't up there. No, it was right here. That's where I feel it. It was right here.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy, poor child. Yeah, I felt bad for you.
Yeah.
Well, at least the what I know about is my mother-in-law, your mother, and I went there with you, and for the procedure, and the doc came out and talked to us. And was telling us that this particular surgery is going to take 3 to 4 hours. Typically it takes 3 to 4 hours, and that's it. So we should just relax or go somewhere and come back and all that kind of thing. So we said, all right, if it's going to take 3 to 4 hours, we were with you till they took you back. We just went to Starbucks and figured we just hang out for a while. So we're just talking away, doing our Starbucks thing, not checking the clock because we know it's
3 hours,
going to be
right?
3 hours.
Right.
So about 40 minutes later, after we left you, about 45 minutes later, I get a call. It's the doctor. I'm like, well, what's wrong? I'm thinking something, And he said, no, I was going to let you know everything went fine. It's all done. And he was talking about how healthy you are. So he somehow surmised that you were healthy. Your body was healthy, responded to the surgery real well and all that. So a 3 to 4 hour procedure turned into a 45-minute procedure because you took care of yourself ahead of time. And he said it was all good. So, we came back and just had to wait for you to recover. So what was that experience like now for you? So you never had surgery and, in your life. Did you have your wisdom teeth out?
I did.
So you had that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have had anesthesia for that, but never surgery like this.
Right.
So what was that like waking up after your first ever surgery, procedure, whatever you call it?
It was scary.
Really? Was it scary?
It was. My whole thing was like, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
You didn't know where you were?
Yeah. I knew where I was, but I guess because being under the medicine, just coming out of it, it just seemed like I was not in control, which for me is very scary.
Yeah. You don't like that kind of stuff.
I don't like that feeling. So I was just laying there being out of control, and just trying to do whatever the instructions were that the staff gave me. And I just remember, the only thing I remember was traveling through the hospital, through the hallways, because
Lord have mercy.
It just seemed like it took a long time to get from the recovery room to the actual hospital room.
Yeah. That wasn't your anesthesia. That was for real. Because when we came back to see you, the doctor called, said, you might want to come on back now, so we finished our little coffee and came back. And they said, well, just sit over there, sit in the room over there. So he's like, all right. So we sat down. They said, she'll be out just a minute. So we wait for an hour. And I'm sitting there thinking, you called us and said, come on back. So I went out and I'm like, where's my wife? And they said, oh, let me look it up. So they looked it up. They said, oh, she in the other building, way down. I said, well, how do we? They said, you got to go out and get your car. We had to go get our cars and drive all the way to the other building just to come to your room. And I was like, they weren't going to tell us. But anyway, so
it took a long time to walk.
You were far away.
The person who was pushing me was out of breath. He was wheezing.
You said he
I
was
think
wheezing.
He was like, how preachers sing wheezing. I was like, oh man, this man, I hope he's all right.
Oh my goodness.
Because I remember him stopping, and somebody said, "Well, do you know where you're going?" He was like, "Yeah, I was looking for a shortcut, And he told the lady wherever we were going. She's like, "Nope, it's no shortcut. You got to go, whatever the way is." He was like, "Man."
Oh my goodness, that was a whole nother. Obviously the buildings are connected because you stayed inside,
Right.
But they told us, no, don't stay inside. Go get your car. We had to drive all the way down there. So
Yeah, it was a
anyway,
while.
so that was interesting. Well, then, so you had a recovery. You stayed overnight in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
What was that whole post-surgery experience like after you were awakened and like, okay, I know what happened
Right.
now.
So there was just a lot of pain.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of pain involved.
Yeah, you had that. I remember they gave you some serious pain medication.
Yeah.
It took away the pain, but it made you
made
nauseous.
me sick. So they gave me morphine because I was warned by the nurse who was prepping me. Because she had an embolization before. She said, when they offer you pain medicine, take it because you don't want that. You don't want to feel it.
Yeah, when you get behind the pain, they call it. It's hard to.
So I said, okay. So they gave me morphine, a drip that was every 10 minutes, I think they said.
Right. Was it Was it morphine that made you sick though?
I think so. Because when they stopped it, that's when I got better.
I thought it was a different one, and then they put you on morphine.
Well, I don't.
Yeah, I know you were out.
I think it was morphine, morphine drip that was every 10 minutes. Yeah, because remember you said.
Yeah, but I was thinking that was a even seriouser. I think that was even I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was, but I was thinking that was a more serious medicine, and then they switched you to morphine.
Well, it could be. I don't know.
But either way, whatever
was going
if
through
it was
the
morphine
veins,
or whatever it was at
every
first,
10
she had to
minutes.
keep clicking this button every 10 minutes. Click, click.
Yes.
Or the pain came.
And then, so it would make me. So the pain would come. I would get sleepy. I would get hot. I would feel nauseous.
Yes.
So that went on
I'm
every
not gonna
10
talk about
minutes,
that,
all day, into the night. Because the nurses have the 7 to 7 shift.
Right.
So it was after the second shift came on that they switched me. So that was at least 10 hours or so that I was doing that, just sick.
Right.
And I didn't eat anything because I felt nauseous for a while.
Right.
And then I ate crackers and drank ginger ale or Sprite, whatever they gave me.
Yeah, and I got you some. What was that soup? Minestrone soup, but you really.
But I didn't eat that.
Yeah, you really
because I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you just had to eat crackers.
Yeah, it was just crackers, and then that started coming back up. Did I ever throw up while you were there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yes, you did.
He was like, yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So then I was throwing up. So it was bad. So ladies who have had children, and if you haven't had an epidural, just think of being at 9 or 10 and throwing up every 10 minutes.
9 or 10
centimeters dilated. So very active labor, and then throwing up on top of it.
Oh, that's what it felt like. Okay.
That's what it felt like.
And this is from a healthy person. This is from a person who was very, very healthy going into the procedure. So that's what it felt like for me. So so now after going through this, are you optimistic about your health future, or do you have any concerns?
I'm always optimistic.
Yeah,
yes.
that's good.
Do I have concerns? I would say right now, no. I have a 3-month checkup. Well, I have a 1 month. I'm supposed to call, or they'll call me to do a 1 month follow up for my procedure, and then a 3 month, and then a 6 month.
Right.
So they should be able to see the tumors have shrunk at those points, 3 and 6.
So they didn't remove the tumors.
Right.
But they did what?
Cut off the blood supply to them. So cut off the arteries or veins, whatever you call it, that feeds the tumors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they can't live.
Right.
You're going to choke them to death.
Right.
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, how did this experience affect your own view of your health, your view of your own health, I guess? Your view of...
Well...
And will you change anything going forward? I mean, you were pretty healthy.
I don't know that there's anything that I could have changed.
Yeah.
Now, of course, because I believe I'm supposed to be perfect in all things.
Right.
I feel like, oh, what if I had not been so anxious of a person, or what if I didn't carry all of these worry so much, or take on other people's cares and all that kind of stuff. But hey, I am who I am.
Yeah.
So I did what was in my power.
Right. Yeah.
To take care of myself. So I don't know really that there's anything that I could have changed.
Okay.
And I used the prayer and everything, and the Lord didn't see fit to just take it away. So it is what it is. You have to go through the process.
Right. Will you change anything going forward? That's my question.
Going forward, I don't believe there's anything that I can do.
Right. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Being healthy.
To change. Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep going.
Right. So what message would you give, especially women?
Yeah, everybody. All of us have our yearly preventative exams that are,
especially getting older, but anybody
though, take care of yourself medically, and don't feel like, oh, I'm fine, nothing's wrong, so I'm not going to get anything checked out, because there could be something at the beginning stages that can be easily taken care of.
Right.
Rather than if you wait until you start feeling symptoms, and then it's in a more advanced stage, and then it's a little harder to take care of, and more complex issue to take care of. So get your checks. Go get checked up. Get your prostate checks. Get your colonoscopies. Get your breast exams. Get your gynecology pap smear exams. All of that stuff.
All that stuff. Get your prostate exams.
Yeah.
Prostate exams. Get all that kind of stuff.
Get it done, because you want to be as healthy as you can be, and and you want the peace of mind of knowing that you are healthy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I believe that the good Lord does do miracles, of course. And I absolutely believe in faith. I preach faith, but I believe that God has given us very practical ways to live life as well. So, it's kind of like one of those things, and I'll let you finish up here, but it's kind of like one of those things for me, talking about your health journey is, like a lot of people who believe in God and are Christians, if you will just talk about, hey, I have faith, and I believe I'm an overcomer, and I'm going to speak to my health, and I believe God is a healer, and He is. But we say all those things while at the same time, drinking a gallon of Coke, eating fried chicken and potato chips, and all of those kind of things. And I think that counteracts. So you can't, you can't sabotage your own health. I think expecting the miracle.
That's true. And you cannot be presumptuous as well. You cannot say, well, God's just gonna heal me, and that's that. You really need to say, okay,
because He's given us ways.
Yeah, and say, Holy Spirit, how do you want me
right.
to go through this process? And then allow the Holy Spirit to direct you in the way you should go. Mm-hmm. Now, that could be just prayer and believing and speaking the word.
Right. You know
your faith. You know your faith. But just be sensitive to the Holy Spirit and just do what He says. Because sometimes there's a purpose for going through the medical route,
right?
The scientific route,
absolutely,
and having it done that way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we can't look down on people because they get better the way they get better.
Yeah, all right, good deal. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right. So going forward, we're going to be healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yep, that's right. So what's your next health goal?
I'm continuing to lose weight. So I'm going down, and that's it. So I can be around.
All right. So that's what we're doing. Me too. I'm losing weight. No, really. Well, I should say I'm okay. I'm a healthy eater, but I do want to lose some weight.
Everybody wants to lose some weight.
I do want to lose some weight. Yeah. Okay. So here's my thing, guys. I never wanted to be like those cartoon characters when we were kids. If you're our age, they had the big fat woman and the real skinny man on the cartoon. Do you not remember that?
No.
I used to look at that as a kid and think, "Oh Lord, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be big and fat. My husband gonna be real skinny."
It's not the case.
So I don't want that. That's why I'm always like, okay, I gotta lose weight.
It's not the case. You're just fine.
All right. So we're going to go into our words of the day.
All right.
If you all can't tell, he is just he's ready to move forward. He's like, okay,
I know.
hurry up, come on, hurry up, come on, hurry up, come on. All right, so my word of the day is portend, and it is a verb.
Pretend.
No, I didn't say pretend. I said portend. Portend. Portend.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me guess. That sounds like somebody that's fat. Like portend.
Somebody who's portly?
Yeah.
No. Portend is a sign, to be a sign or a warning that something, especially something momentous or calamitous, is likely to happen.
So, okay, yeah. She's about to be a doctor. She's working on her dissertation right now. So, she knows all these words and definitions. I don't know what she just said, but what does that say?
So,
it again?
okay, in a sentence.
Yeah, how would you say it in a sentence?
The stillness of the air portends bad weather.
Oh, okay. Kind of like foreshadows.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And but what it's foreshadowing is disastrous, or what you say?
Calamitous or momentous.
Or momentous. Okay.
Something big is going to happen.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. All right. Well, my word is effervescent. Yes. Just
And
I like
that
the way
describes our personalities.
What? Effervescent?
You portend something big or calamitous is going to happen. And you are effervescent.
That means very enthusiastic or vivacious. Yeah. So in a sentence, you might say, the young people in our youth group are effervescent.
Yes.
We're very effervescent today. Yes, vivacious and enthusiastic.
Yes.
There you go. That's my word.
All right. So that's it for our health journey today. But you know what? Just switching gears. Mr. Michael is so talented in so many ways.
What?
He has so many gifts. So he wrote a song a while ago called Beautiful Black Woman.
Oh.
And it's on YouTube, and is it on Amazon Music?
It's on Amazon Music, Apple Music.
Apple Music, that's what I'm trying to
Spotify.
say. He puts it on all the platforms. He has music everywhere. So look him up, Michael Carter. He has music everywhere. Buy his music, he'll love it. But he also made these T-shirts that are for sale if you want them. They're called Beautiful Black Woman. And so, what are some of these words?
Melanated black royalty, majestic, heavenly, gift. You turn the other way. Okay, gifted, queen, gold.
Okay.
There you go.
Aren't they cute? I think they're so cute. And you can get them in gray or in black, right?
I think so, yeah.
So if you want one, he's going to put a link in here.
Yeah.
There'll be a link.
Yeah, delight.com. No, delightonline.com. It's on the screen now, as you can see.
delightonline.com.
Yeah.
Support the beautiful black women in your life. You don't have to be black to buy one. Support the beautiful black women in your life. Yeah, I think I love this T-shirt.
Yeah. Do you really?
I really do. I wear it all the time.
You do wear it.
Yes.
That's good. All right. It's a nice plug. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's it for Saving Us. And please give us some ideas of things you would like for us to discuss. And hopefully we can get some guests on and cover the topics that you would like to hear about, and maybe have questions and answers and things like that. That'll be a lot of fun. So go ahead and just interact with us, and I'll get back with you. I checked twice this week. We only had one person to comment this week. So more comments, please. All right. Until next time, we'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't know how we got here, but we got love, yeah. Don't know how we got here, but we got love, yeah.